What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Time to do a Raw recap. Started off right away with Roman Reigns coming out, and then a reminder about the wild card rule.
Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
He's followed out by Shane McMahon.
Oh, for God's sake.
We then go on to reintroduce Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon says that he's going to be beating Roman Reigns at Super ShowDown. Runs his mouth for a little bit. Roman Reigns tells him to shut up. Reigns goes on by saying he's going to be beating Drew McIntyre at Stomping Grounds, which has to be the most ridiculous title for a pay-per-view since Great Balls of Fire. This, of course, brings out Drew McIntyre. He says he's going to be ending Roman Reigns at Stomping Grounds and says to Shane McMahon, let's go ahead and do it right now. They start walking down to the ring. The Revival come out and attack Roman Reigns from behind. Before a real beatdown starts, the Usos come out for the save, and we go on to our first match. Now for the opener, it wasn't bad. It was quick, to the point. We got right to a match. It wasn't some 20-minute, 30-minute meandering about, oh, I'm going to beat you. No, I'm going to beat you. Nuh-uh, I'm going to beat you. We got straight to the point. Cool. Awesome. Fine. Now our first match, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus Drew McIntyre and the Revival. Shane McMahon's at ringside. This is the usual Uso tag match. Jimmy Uso gets beat down for a little bit. Roman Reigns tags in. He cleans house. Shane McMahon gets involved. Shocker. Drew McIntyre hits a Claymore kick on Jay, gets the pin. After their match, the Revival do the Shatter Machine on Reigns, followed by a McIntyre Claymore kick, and they ended off with Shane McMahon giving Roman Reigns a spear. This wasn't really a bad match. It was decent for an opener, so I'll give him at least some credit for that. We then have an episode of Miz TV, and his guest is Seth Rollins. The Miz and Rollins talk about Brock Lesnar supposedly cashing in his Money in the Bank tonight. The Miz refers to Brock Lesnar as the most dominant wrestler of the time, which I call bullshit. Brock Lesnar was dominant back in the day when he was actually there all the time. Now that he's there, like what? Once every blue moon? I think this is the most we've seen him in quite some time. Now he's pretty much just a fucking joke. We then cut to the Titantron where our limo pulls up. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar get out and walk backstage. And that's it. We then have the Lucha House Party coming out. They're quickly followed by Lars Sullivan. Sullivan gets in the ring. Quickly a beatdown ensues from the Lucha House Party, who quickly knocks Sullivan out in the ring with a triple dropkick, and Sullivan walks off. I guess this is pretty much going to be meaning the Lucha House Party are going to get squashed at Super ShowDown. Becky Lynch comes out. She talks about the past 63 days, and then talks about how Lacey Evans cost her SmackDown title. And just like magic, Lacey Evans comes out, this time not doing a drive-by. She says she's going to be Raw champ at Super ShowDown. Charlotte Flair comes out. Great. Evans and Flair talk shit to each other. Lacey Evans punches Flair, and all of a sudden we have a match. Charlotte Flair versus Lacey Evans with Becky Lynch at ringside. This is an okay match. It ends when Becky Lynch attacks Charlotte Flair, causing a disqualification. She runs in the ring, beats down Lacey Evans, and gives her the manhandle slam. Alright. Rey Mysterio comes out to relinquish his U.S. title. Samoa Joe comes out. There's a little tete-a-tete between the two. Mysterio lays down his title. As he's leaving the ring, Samoa Joe beats him down. Alright. Then we have Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley in an arm wrestling match. Right before everything starts, Bobby Lashley slaps Strowman. We try for a second time, and Strowman and Lashley's hands slip, so they pull out a box of chalk, chalk their hands up, go for a third time, and Braun Strowman wins. After this oh-so-exciting encounter, Lashley throws the chalk into Strowman's face, beats him down, gives him a power slam. We then have Nikki Cross versus Peyton Royce with Billie Kay and Alexa Bliss at ringside. This was actually an okay match. I really wasn't thinking there was going to be much to it. Partway through the match, a stagehand brings out a cup of coffee for Alexa Bliss, to which the Iconics take a little bit of an exception to. The coffee gets knocked out of Bliss's hands, she gets knocked over into the coffee, and Nikki Cross gets the pin. After the match, Alexa Bliss takes out her frustrations on Billie Kay. I did say this was a decent match. I think it probably would have been a lot better had we just omitted the whole coffee thing and just focused on the wrestling. We then have Seth Rollins coming out. Before he even starts talking, Brock Lesnar's music hits. Nothing happens. Rollins dares Lesnar to come out, but who do we get? Boring Corbin. He comes out, runs his mouth, saying that you need to worry about him taking the Universal title at Super ShowDown. Rollins and Corbin start to fight. Then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and classic Seth Rollins blinders. Everything just now starts going like this. He doesn't see anything but what's going on up the ramp, which allows Baron Corbin to hit the end of days, laying him out. Once again, Brock Lesnar's music hits. He actually does come out this time with a referee and Paul Heyman. He gives a low blow to Seth Rollins, beats him down, smacks him a bunch of times with a chair, gives him an F5 out in the ringside, gets him back in the ring, gives him a steel chair beatdown. Paul Heyman is screaming for him to cash in now, and Brock Lesnar says, Friday.
What?
Good. God, we got to be doing this shit again. Although this does pose an interesting match, I'm guessing it's probably going to be a triple threat match, and Baron Corbin's pretty much going to be there to eat the pin. We then visit the Firefly Funhouse, where we get to see the Wyatt Gym in an odd depiction of Vince McMahon as a puppet. We then have Triple H coming out, followed by Randy Orton. Triple H says he's coming to Jeddah to kick his ass, to which Orton responds to, "I'm not Batista." Triple H praises Randy Orton, and then tells him that many have tried to take him out, but he's still standing, and that Randy Orton's not the one to take him down. As Triple H starts to leave, Randy Orton says that he wants Triple H to promise him one thing, that before he leaves for Super Showdown, that he takes his balls out of Stephanie McMahon's purse. Triple H gives him props, saying that was pretty good, but then comes back to Orton saying that you don't have any. We then have Ricochet versus Cesaro. Again. Ricochet won. Okay. After the match, Cesaro beats him down, goes out to ringside, pulls out a table, but R-Truth is laying on top of that table. I guess he was hiding under ringside the entire night. Loser locker room comes out, there's a big fight. Carmella super kicks Drake Maverick, and R-Truth escapes again. And with 6 minutes left in the show, The Undertaker comes out. Pretty much half of that time was taken up by his entrance. Undertaker says that he wants the mythical icon Goldberg to be there, and that if anything less shows up, it'll be Goldberg's last match. He says, "Goldberg, you're next." And then we just cut off Raw. What the fuck? I really think if we kind of cut out some of the bullshit that was happening earlier, we probably could have had a decent promo for The Undertaker. This was an okay Raw. It had its good points, it had its bad points. Thankfully, it was not as bad as last week. But I guess we'll see what Goldberg says tomorrow night on SmackDown. Hopefully they'll give him more than 5 minutes. But that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back tomorrow for the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought of this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.